Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles. We're going to talk about Black Myth Wukong, which I have not played yet. I should play it. I really should play it. But there's a lot of controversy. They've been trying to get this game for like a year now. And I think a lot of it is because the Chinese developers will not bend the knee to the quote-unquote woke mob, outrage mob on Twitter, the gaming journos. And look, I'm not blindly defending this studio at all, right? I mean, there's a whole lot of issues we could probably delve into regarding the Chinese video game scene and all that. But, God, there's so much ass mad about this. Why? I think at the end of the day, I think this game sold very, very well. And it didn't play by the rules that the American, the Western, the woke AAA gaming scene has set for the industry. They didn't play by the rules. Anytime a game comes out and it does well and it doesn't play by the rules, it gets dogpiled. Look at Pow World. Look at Stellar Blade. These games get attacked by the media. They get attacked on Twitter. Journalists go out there and try to dig up dirt because they don't like the idea that gamers have an alternative. They don't think you should have an alternative. A lot of these journalists don't think you should have an alternative. They think that you should be forced to play current year DEI video games. That's what they want. And they'll tell you as much. They will. They'll flat tell you your face. Like, this game's not diverse enough. This game's not inclusive enough. Fun? That's secondary. First, we have to sell you on the message, guys, because this has been a huge part of the video game industry for the last 5 to 8 years. And guess what? It's not working very well. All these AAA studios are shutting down. They're all shutting down because gamers are closing their wallets. They're not buying these games. I think they're also shutting down or laying people off because there might be people at these companies that are like, I don't want a bunch of activists here. I'll just tell them it's the economy, but it's really you. It's really a you problem. You are getting in our way from making good games. You are pushing us to make a Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League when we'd rather be making money like Black Myth Wukong over here, but making it stateside. And you will not allow that, because if we don't do what you want, you're going to go run your friends at Kotaku or Polygon or whatever. And it's not working anymore. All these websites are imploding. All these studios are imploding. The good ones seem to be getting saved, right? We did cover in a gaming news roundup the other day that the developer, is it Tango Gameworks? I think the company that made Hi-Fi Rush, they actually got gobbled up by the PUBG company, Crafton. Is it Crofton? Anyway, so they're fine, I guess. I think that's going to happen more often. So let's talk about this, because I haven't really covered this too much. And I haven't been following it super, super closely, but God, it's so weird to see all the backlash. And I think this game is going to massively outsell Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that's what they're afraid of, because they couldn't control it. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You go back just a couple months, niche gamer rumor, Wukong devs reject a $7 million extortion from DEI consultants. That would be Sweet Baby Inc. And this is why they hate this game. This was 3 days ago. This is coming from PCGamer.com. We asked Black Myth Wukong's developer about the controversy over its founder's past sexist remarks, but GameScience's only reply was no comment. And this is the same company that when they sent out review codes, and they sent codes to influencers, they said, stay away from politics. We don't want you intermingling politics with gameplay. Just review the game, play the game. That's all you got to do. Yeah, they said streamer guidelines for Black Myth leaked before release revealed a list of don'ts that include feminist propaganda, fetishes, and other content that instigates negative discourse. Yeah, because they know how you guys play the game, right? And that's it. But it didn't hurt the sales of the game. If anything, it probably helped the sales of the game. 10 million units sold across all platforms. As of today, this morning, 10 million units. Now, a lot of those sales are in China, I'm sure, but this was a game designed for a Chinese audience. But at the end of it, companies are going to look at this and be like, well, what did Black Myth Wukong do right that they sold so many copies? What did Pal World do right? What did Stellar Blade do right? And they're going to look at that and be like, oh, they didn't listen to Sweet Baby Inc. They didn't listen to the gaming journos. They told people to leave politics at the door and just play the game. They didn't make body diverse monkey kings and queens and they thems. They just put out a good game. That's all you got to do. Meat and potatoes. All you got to do is, I know I'm on the meat and potatoes kick. I just did the comic book video talking about Transformers. All you got to do is give people basic entertainment. It doesn't even have to be the greatest thing ever. It just has to be competent and not have a lot of politics in it and just be escapism. That's all you got to do. It doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever made. It just has to be decent and you'll make a lot of money because there's not a lot of just decent escapist entertainment out there. So anybody that comes along and says, yeah, we're just going to give you a video game. It's got some hot babes, some jiggle physics and graphics are pretty good. And guess what? No hint of politics or what did they call it? Feminist radicalization or anything like that. Feminist talking point. None of that. Body positivity or whatever. All you got to do is just go back to basics and give people a decent video game. This is the world we live in. You can't get just basic entertainment anymore because all of these industries have been so infected with activists that it's like, seriously, it's controversial. It's controversial. These people wouldn't be able to survive the 90s. If you saw some of the magazine ads back in the 90s for video games, there's no way in hell these people would have survived. And then we have games like Mortal Kombat getting completely nerfed by this mindset, and they should be rising to the occasion for sure. But let's check out this article. This is coming from The Verge. Black myth Wukong is too mediocre for all this drama. So now they're trying to slam it as being mediocre. Most outlets gave it like 9s and 10s. 8s, 9s, and 10s. A perfectly fine action game has become saddled with a lot of baggage, says The Verge. It's become the most talked about game of the summer, but for all the wrong reasons. Discussion of Wukong on social media has been dominated by people arguing about what constitutes valid criticism of a piece of art. Reviewers of the game have become the target of harassment, and the general tenor of conversation has reached a level of toxicity that would likely make any potentially curious player run screaming for the safety of yonder Fortnite hills, myself included. Why? Why are you being harassed just because what? I know why. Because we have a lot of people tanking the reviews because they're mad about the politics and no politics thing, right? And then we have people on the other side that are getting attacked for daring to give it a fair review. Despite the trepidation, I wanted to know what, if anything, about Black Myth Wukong as a game was worth all the digital ink being spilled on its behalf. Clicks, dude, clicks. You know, if you talk about it and you take a strong position, you're going to get clicks. While no game is worth any kind of harassment, a few hours with Wukong have left me wondering, this is it? Wukong is a gorgeous game, but its simplistic combat drags down the experience into something that's beautiful to look at, but aggressively just okay to play. That's all you have to be. Look, this is what is so aggravating. Like, it's not hard to make gamers and movie fans and comic book fans happy. Well, yeah, okay, some of them. But a lot of them, they just want meat and potatoes entertainment. You just have to give them something that's good and basic and scratches that itch. You don't have to be super fancy, but they do not want you being woke. It's as simple as that. Like, they'll put up with a mediocre game that doesn't have any wokeness in it because that's where people are at right now. Because seriously, you have a game that's actually pretty good. The game is pretty good, but it's highly political, and that's immediately going to turn people off, right? And you're not going to, I don't even know if Suicide Squad's any good. I have zero interest in playing it. A lot of people were not going to give it a chance because of the politics attached to it, right out of the gate, and people are pissed off. They're pissed off at consultants like Sweet Baby Inc. They're pissed off at the Western AAA gaming scene, so they're running into the arms of the Chinese because at least the Chinese aren't. You know what I'm saying? And look at what happened with Genshin. All that backlash over Genshin. American voice actors, Western voice actors, throwing shit at MiHoYo because the characters aren't dark-skinned enough for their liking. And they actually had to put a statement out that these were fictional characters in a fictional world. And that wasn't good enough. You know, it's never good enough. So again, you don't have to be the best thing ever. You have to be competent, and they don't want you to be political. And people are backing it because of that, right? They said Wukong has some elements of a Souls-like game. There are various user interface elements that remind me of Sekiro. Death causes enemies to respawn. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. I've been playing on the Steam Deck, which probably isn't the best device for the game. It chugged ferociously. Well, you're playing it on the least optimal platform. Are they not paying Game Journos enough to buy a decent desktop gaming rig now? I mean, seriously. Despite its bombastic opening, the next few hours, the game did not come close to those initial heights. Combat's to blame. Enemies were trivially simple and beyond one aberration of an encounter. Very early in the game, the bosses were too. Again, meat and potatoes. Maybe it just has to be something approaching good. It'd be nice if the conversation about the game ended here, but, well, it's because of gaming journos. Let's be honest. But unfortunately, Black Myth Wukong has launched with a lot of baggage. In 2020, the game was introduced in the West with a slick 13-minute trailer highlighting graphics and action that were impressive for a game still early in development. However, in November of last year, IGN released a report on GameScience, the studio making Wukong, that featured sexist comments from the game's developers made on Chinese social media. When asked about these comments in recent interviews with other outlets, GameScience's response has been no comment. Well, let's look at these sexist comments. They said that in this post, this is the lead artist and co-founder, is it Yang Qi, back in 2013. They went back to 2013 to dig up dirt because this game, again, wouldn't play ball. They wouldn't play ball. So they went and they dug up dirt on them. Yang embarked on an extensive diatribe about how the games made for women and men are completely different due to their biological differences. I personally don't think that's completely untrue. I don't know if it's biological difference, but there does tend to be a difference in the kinds of games that men and women like. True story, Pac-Man was designed for women. I'm not kidding. But I'm just saying, like puzzle games and life sims and that sort of thing, women tend to, I'm not saying always, but tend to prefer those types of games compared to men that want to, blow shit up. Fight shit, blow shit up. In his post, he pointed out that when men were holding a heavy machine gun and shooting at governments in your dreams, what the ladies dream about are bags that would make their friends jealous. He then concluded the post by suggesting that he would need to put on silk stockings and suspenders to work, brew some tea, and put on a humidifier at his table to make soft and effeminate things. He's basically, I don't think, and this is going to sound incredibly sexist of me, but as a married man, I don't think my wife would be offended. Men and women are wired differently for the most part. I'm not saying that, some men don't enjoy more effeminate things and some women don't enjoy more masculine things. But overall, when it comes to entertainment, there does tend to be, generally speaking, a difference in the kinds of entertainment that men and women enjoy. I don't think that's sexist. This might be a very basic distillation of this observation. But again, if you look at certain games and you look at certain industries and you look at comics, look at what do women read when it comes to comics? They're not reading superheroes for the most part. There might be a handful that do. I'm not saying women don't read superheroes at all, but they tend to read slice of life, romance comics. Manga is huge, and some of the biggest comics out there, the more male-centric comics or the shonen comics, the more action comics, and then you have massive audiences for rom-coms, female-centric comics. There's nothing wrong with making that observation because it overall, and again, not in every case, but overall, it does tend to be true. But yeah, they're just looking for every reason to shoot this studio down. As in the run-up to the game's launch earlier this week, screenshots of a document from GameScience began circulating on social media featuring instructions on what influencers were and were not allowed to discuss. Not allowed to talk about about COVID-19. think it's kind of late for that, but okay. Politics, the Chinese game industry, fetishes, feminist propaganda, and other content that instigates negative discourse. I don't see anything wrong with that if they're giving you a review code. This is very normal. Hollywood studios do it all the time. American Hollywood studios do this all the time. We will let you screen our movie. You can preferably say nice things. It's implied that you're supposed to say nice things, but we don't want you tying our movie maybe to conversations that don't have anything to do with our movie in exchange for getting access and a swag bag or whatever. This is not unusual, but they're gunning for this game. And look, again, I'm not making excuses, for some of the stuff some of the issues people have maybe with the Chinese video game industry overall. That's not the point. The point is you can see the bias. They will give a pass, and this is true. They will give a pass to a very mediocre game that is diverse and inclusive, and their friends worked on and had, ran through a gauntlet of sensitivity readers and all that. They will give a pass to that. They'll stand for Suicide Squad or something like that. They'll stand for Conquered, right? But they're throwing this one to the wolves because they wouldn't play ball with the beloved, diverse and inclusive AAA gaming scene here in the West. And this is why I think it's dying. I think a lot of the people that are in charge of these studios are like, when we started out, we wanted to just make games. And then our companies got infected with these people. And now we're using the economy as an excuse to get rid of them. But the reality is I think a lot of these people, they would have gotten rid of them a lot sooner if they could without getting screeched at. Now that all it takes is like one domino knocking over to set up the whole chain, right? Elon Musk, when he went into Twitter and he tossed more than half the staff out on their ear, activist staffers mostly, that set off a chain reaction worldwide in a lot of industries, not just tech, but also entertainment and gaming. Like, oh, we can fire these activists? Oh, okay. And it might actually benefit our company to do that. Okay, let's do that. And that's what's happening. I don't think AAA gaming is going to die. I think it's going to course correct. We're going to have fewer titles. They're going to cost a lot less because you're not going to have all the overhead. You're not going to have to hire sensitivity readers or consultants or anything like that. You're going to have a smaller staff of people that actually program the games. You're not going to have probably not have a bunch of like the unionized, the quality control testers and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, you want the game to be good, right? But there's a whole lot of change that is going to have to happen. Yeah, they basically said playing Wukong felt like those middle episodes of a Chinese drama when the plot is spinning its wheels on the same conflict between the heroine and her evil stepmother, empress, sister, concubine. That's actually not untrue. Geeky watches a lot of those shows. Again, feminine. She watches a lot of those shows. And it is true. It's like, okay, they kind of get somewhere with the plot and then they have to walk it back. But overall, I said it's a pretty game. Can we talk about how much this game is being astroturfed? This is one of the commenters. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 game, but I think it is getting a lot of unnecessary hate because of their stance on no politics. With each game controversy that comes and goes, how to be a good gamer review proves itself to be truer and truer. Been gaming for over 45 years. Gamers are the worst fanboys. I don't understand the drama and what the sides are and don't care. Monkey feminism, huh? No, please don't explain it to me. Why does everything have to be dragged into this left and right tug of war? That's actually true. I'm excited to see more authentic tellings of their own stories from rising studios in China, India, and other countries. I'd rather see China put out a historically accurate or at least reverential game about their own culture and history than see California put it out. Why wasn't Assassin's Creed Shadows developed in Japan? Why did we have to westernize it? I'm just saying, like, it would be a lot more authentic, right? It's ironic now how the anti-woke Gamergate nut jobs ally with their Chinese counterparts. They're willing to look over all the ideological differences and what made that bridge building possible, to be a misogynist and a racist. Got it. Oh, God. You haven't seen true horror if you didn't go into the Steam forums in the last few days. I'll paint a picture. If you're a delicate soul, don't look at it. It's been a violent orgy of the crazed right guys orgasming on hate and spite. It's like they don't even have complete brains, their whole essence and pleasure being preemptively and relentlessly obnoxious to anyone not in their weird tribe for every game whose characters aren't perfectly white. What? The forums are spammed with "is this woke" and other bait threads, anti-left nonsense, and torrents of abuse for whoever protests. Then there are the QAnon leftovers who, oh, God. Yeah, okay, whatever. Buy the game, don't buy the game, buy the monkey game. I don't give a shit. I haven't bought it yet. I might check it out. I'll probably wait for it to come on sale. I don't know. Is it going to go on sale? I don't know if it's going to go on sale or not. But I do believe that they were not given a fair shake, right? Because the media is ass mad that they don't want politics in the game. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.